Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful week. Today is the day we all knew this day would come. I am officially concluding my Mariah Carey discography journey. I will be listening to her 2014 album, Me, I Am Mariah, the Elusive Chanteuse, her 14th studio album released 6 years ago. After I listen to this album, there won't be any more Mariah Carey albums to listen to and her discography. I would have exhausted her entire discography. Nothing left except for her second holiday album released back in 2010, Merry Christmas to You. It's celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. But I don't know about you, it is May right now, and I'm not in the mood to listen to Christmas music. So I'm actually going to be saving that album for November or December of this coming holiday season. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, this series is coming to a close. It's always bittersweet when I finish one of these discography journeys because I do learn a lot about music, and it really is a journey. It's a whirlwind, especially when the artist has an extensive discography like Mariah's. And I feel like, in a way, I watch the artist grow up. I know that probably sounds stupid, but in a ways I do. I start off with their debut album and then I follow them through the years, through the decades. I watch them grow and mature through the highs and the lows, the tears and the laughs and the love and the hate. And it's like I send them off to college now. Goodbye, good luck. It's like I'm never gonna see them again. It's like I'm saying goodbye to a friend. It's like they die and I'm never going to listen to their music again. And it's always so sad, but all good things have to come to an end. But you know what? We're gonna have a party and we're gonna have some fun listening to her 14th studio album. So, looking at the track list, I'm listening to the deluxe edition, which has 18 tracks. It's 1 hour and 15 minutes. So this will be quite a long video. And looking at the track list, the only songs I've heard so far off this album is track number 4, Beautiful, and track number 7, Your Mind, Eternal, and track number 17, The Art of Letting Go. But of course, if I start listening to a song and it sounds familiar, I'll let you guys know. So let's get this party started with track number 1, Cry. Alrighty, so that was track number 1, Cry. Wow, this was taking me back to Mariah's earlier days, back in the early 90s. This was kind of reminding me of her Emotions album, and I was here for it. I was living for it, and I really enjoyed this track. Emotions is one of my favorite Mariah Carey albums, so it's always nice when you listen to a more current Mariah Carey song, like a song from 2014, and it's a bit of a throwback to her earlier work. And obviously, she doesn't sound the same as she did on her Emotions album. This album was released in 2014, Emotions was released in 1991, so that was 23 years ago. Obviously, her voice wouldn't sound the same, but aesthetically, I feel like this is old school Mariah. So now let's move on to track number 2, Faded.
And I was feeling some kind of way. Cause my eyes nothing but faded pictures of you. Yeah. Baby, you're faded. You go. You're just so tangible.
Alrighty, so that was track number 2, Faded, and I don't know about you, but I'm only 2 tracks into this album, and I'm already enjoying it a lot more than her Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel album, which was released in 2009. It was her last studio album prior to this one. There was Merry Christmas to You in 2010, but I'm already enjoying this album a lot more, and I find myself not really paying attention to the lyrics, which is what I usually do in these videos. Lyrics are really important to me, so that's why I put a lot of emphasis on them. But I find myself not really paying attention to lyrics. I'm just letting the music consume my ears and my mind. I couldn't even tell you what the song was about, track number 2, Faded, because I wasn't even paying attention to the lyrics. I love paying attention to the lyrics in a Mariah Carey album because I love her as a songwriter. I like her lyrics, but I was just letting the music take me over, and honestly, I'm loving this album so far. So now let's move on to track number 3, Dedicated, featuring Nas.
The summer '88 is the best.
But that's your nostalgia, though, just for the.
That's my most nostalgic moment.
Gonna make you be my own. Oh, baby, you know. I wanna feel that again. Da-di-da-di-da. That's how you do it. That's how you make it okay. And this is dedicated to you. I just sit right here and sing that. Boy, it was so real. I wanna feel that again. So can you visualize 36 fingers high? Da-di-da-di-da. You made it. That's how you do it. Just like you did it that day.
She has to say, ever be a masterpiece. Some see it differently. 87 looks to me.
That's how you do it.
Oh, baby, you know.
Alrighty, so that was track number 3 and Dedicated. This was another song I enjoyed, and what I'm loving about this album so far is the production. I'm loving the production on each and every one of these songs so far. It's kind of just, like I said before, it's just kind of taking me over and kind of just taking me somewhere, and I'm just really enjoying the music on this album. And I like the more relaxed, chill feeling of the song. And out of the 3 songs I listened to so far, I don't think I have a favorite. I like them all equally. And this song does have a nostalgia feeling to it. They are kind of reminiscing about, even in the beginning, they're saying that summer, the summer of '88 is the best, but then Mariah says, but that's your nostalgia. And they're reminiscing, long lost friend from way back when Kennedy was president. And they go on to say, well, this is dedicated to you. I'll just sit right here and sing that good old school shit to ya. So now let's move on to track number 4, Beautiful. Or I should say hashtag beautiful. To this day, I still don't know why they put a hashtag in front of beautiful. I think it's kind of irksome, but anyway. This track is featuring McGill.
Lies don't stop till you thrill me. Oh, how you thrill me, but I don't care. Take me anywhere, 'cause it's beautiful. That does mean a thing to me. Yeah.
Alrighty, so that was track number 4, Beautiful. And I remember there was a summer that I was addicted to this track. And I'm looking at when it was released, and it was released on May 6, 2013. So I imagine it was the summer of 2013 that I was continuously playing this song on repeat. I was addicted to it. It was so chill, relaxing. It was putting me in that summer mood, that summer vibe. And in a way, I was a little disappointed because I felt like I was the only person listening to this song. It only peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100, but honestly, who cares? I felt like I was the only one listening to it amongst everyone I knew, and every time I played it, they were like, what? But anyway, I still like the song to this day, and I think it's a bop. So now let's move on to track number 5, Thirsty, which is oftentimes how I feel when I see Henry Cavill, whether in a movie or Google Images. Not to say I stalk him on Google Images, but there might be times where I casually browse Henry Cavill on Google Images. And I don't know why I just said that. And to add insult to injury, I don't even know if I pronounced his last name right. Cavill.
bright lights, even changing names. You're thirsty, you're thirsty. The Hollywood sign calling you again. It's always filled with discontent. You're thirsty, you're thirsty. Thinking you was born, trying to be a boss. I saw the club, adding me constantly. Can't get that. Yeah.
Alrighty, so that was track number 5, Thirsty. That song just put a smile on my face, honestly. It was fun. It was cute. I liked listening to it. It's very typical Mariah, honestly. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and it was just a lot of fun to listen to. This is just a frivolous, fun pop song, in my opinion. It's just fun to listen to, and that's all it really is. So I enjoyed it. So now let's move on to track number 6, Make It Look Good.
Something about you turned out to play with those players who make it look good. Good enough to run for. Run you right where you're supposed to be. Acting like I know you don't miss me. Sometimes I need you. I to play with those players who you got me going through. Can't help myself because you miss me. Fantasize about the way you lick your lips, fingertips on my hips as you dip. Oh, you make me say, oh, look at what we got it going through.
Okay, so that was track number 6, Make It Look Good. This was another fun song, and like I said many times already, I'm loving the production on this album. I feel like each song sounds different, and I love the production on this song in particular. It was just so feel good. It was really instrumental, and she just played around with so many different sounds on each and every one of these tracks. And I'm really here for it. It's a lot of fun so far. I might be overreacting, but this album is really resonating with me, and I'm having fun to it. I will say, I might be having more fun listening to this album than I did E equals MC Square, and I feel like I might end up liking this album more than E equals MC Square, so who knows. So now let's move on to track number 7, Your Mind, Eternal.
Can't seem to live without your love. Springtime has that get you every time. I can't seem to give you up your mind. Summer days and summer nights when I felt you in my arms. I can't seem to live without your love. Give you up your mind.
That one note just goes forever. Alrighty, so that was track number 7, Your Mind, Eternal. This is another song that I've heard before, and I remember listening to it for the first time and instantly falling in love with it. Once again, a lot of people didn't know about this song, a lot of people didn't listen to this song, but I did, and I thought it was a good song then. I still think it's a great song now. So now let's move on to track number 8, You Don't Know What to Do, featuring Whale. I'm hoping I pronounced that right.
You need to go.
I can give it to you, but what you gonna do?
Yeah.
I bet you got some C's on your back. Let's see this here through.
I'm not sure what's happened as much as you miss me. You don't know, you don't know, you don't know what to do.
Never mind all of the flexing I do. Unless we kill a racket and back and forth. This is my fuel, Giuseppe, my foot, my sweat beating.
You don't know what to do.
Oh my god, I am exhausted. That's a wrap. This video is over. I have to go lay down. I am totally out of breath. Mariah Carey Goes Disco. Oh my god, that was a lot of fun, I gotta say. I feel like I had a whole workout listening to that song, bouncing up and down on my yoga ball. Honestly, anyway, I really like this track. It's very disco-ish, like I just said, and I honestly don't have much to say about it other than it was just a lot of fun to listen to. I mean, I'm 8 tracks in to this album, and there's so many different sounds she's played around with, which I really like. So now let's move on to track number 9, Supernatural.
I got your mommy.
You make the beat go. You make the beat.
Supernatural, hey baby, action. Got me lost in the clouds. We always were the only thing that's true. Beautiful, there's the sun and new. It's supernatural, baby, what are you?
Okay, so that was Supernatural, and this was definitely the cutest song on the album. I'm sure it means a lot to her. You hear little toddlers, babies giggling in the background, and I'm sure this song is a dedication to her children. I don't know too much about Mariah's personal life, her family, but I imagine she's singing about a baby, her children, and you can tell she sounds very happy. And throughout this whole album so far, I feel like the aesthetic of the album, it just sounds happy. It sounds like she's in a positive mood and mindset. I don't know if that's the case, but just from listening to the album, I feel like she's in a good place mentally. So I'm looking at an article on Google. It's from the Telegraph, and it's saying, I mean, this article was published on April 30th, 2011. So I do not want to subscribe now. Go away. Okay, well, it's not letting me read the article because apparently I have to subscribe before I read it. So anyway, it does say 2011 she gave birth to twins. So this album was released in 2014. So her twins would have been 3 years old roughly. So now let's move on to track number 10, Meteorite.
Gotta get up. 'Cause you know the world is waiting. 'Cause you want the night to light up the sky.
My laptop just restarted itself. I am so sorry. Oh my god, I don't know why I did that. Really? Apple, you disappoint me sometimes. Maybe my MacBook was an overload because it couldn't take the amazingness of this album so far. Okay, let's try this again.
Everybody will be famous. No, he said everybody will be world famous.
Alrighty, so that was track number 10, Meteorite. Definitely a very high energy, dance worthy song. She goes disco once again, and I was here for it. I would love if Mariah put out a disco album. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's fun. I don't think it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's fun, but that's about it. It's like fast food. It's like candy. It's fun to the ears. It's tasty to the ears. It puts you in a good mood. It gives you that sugar rush, and at the end of the day, it's empty calories, and there's nothing special about it. But it puts you in a good mood, and I enjoyed the song for what it was worth. Anyway, now let's move on to track number 11, Camouflage.
I remember so many nights in the bed alone. Just showed up once in a while, I guess that's alright. I camouflage my tears. I need you to know, say that you do. To know
Alrighty, and that was track number 11, Camouflage, and she pulled out the gospel choir once again, and I love it when Mariah uses a gospel choir, and I feel like this is one of the strongest tracks on the album, if not the strongest, vocally and the production, and once again, this was taking me back to old school Mariah, just like track number 1, Cry, and I really enjoyed it. To me, it's one of the standouts on the album. Anyway, let's move on to track number 12, Money, featuring Fabulous.
MC. Holidays and checks with holidays and expensive lingerie. Checks on holidays and checks with holidays and expensive lingerie. Cause I come on.
Baby, cause your love is good. That's why I'll be on it, zoning.
Money, this, that, the other. Don't need nothing other than checks on holidays and checks with holidays and expensive lingerie. Cause I come on. See you shorty like a vacay. Do it with a hood heel. Your money, this, that, the other. Don't need you.
Baby, cause your love is good. That's why I be on it.
Money, this, that, the other. Don't need checks on holidays and checks with holidays and expensive lingerie. Cause I come on. So I go ahead and pay it.
Baby,
Oh, you know that's fire. Money, this, that, with holidays and expensive lingerie. Cause I come on.
Alrighty, so that was track number 12, Money, and I love the lyrics in the song, especially in this part here. I mean, there's so many parts in the song that I actually enjoy reading. Jets and Holidays and Chefs with Holidays, Expensive Lingerie 'cause I Come Home to You, and there's other snippets like that throughout the song that I enjoy reading. So I really like the lyrics. This is probably one of my least favorite tracks on the album. It was fun to listen to, but just like Meteorite, I feel like this has empty calories. It's fun, it's sugar to the ears, but at the end of the day, it lacks calories. And it kind of reminds me of a track Ariana Grande would release. So now let's move on to a track that I've been really looking forward to, track number 13, One More Try. Now, I'm thinking this is a cover of George Michael's One More Try. Now, One More Try is not only one of my favorite George Michael songs ever, but it's also one of my favorite 80s songs ever. So I'm very much looking forward to what Mariah does with this song. So let's get into it. Track number 13, One More Try.
had enough of danger and people on the street. So if you love me, say you love me. Hold you, touch you, touch you. That look in your eye, tell something that I don't want to learn. I don't wanna hold you, touch you. That I still have to learn is my pride. Just
So that was track number 13, One More Try. And I have to be honest with you guys, like always, you can't outdo George Michael's version. I'm not saying that Mariah was trying to outdo George Michael's version, because she could never have outdone George Michael's version. Nobody could outdo George Michael's version. It is perfection. I will give her an A for effort, but the George Michael version will always be my go-to version. And I noticed during the last couple seconds of this track, it sounded like she was a bit emotional. It almost sounded like she was crying, or she was on the verge of crying, which I feel like maybe during the recording process of the song, she was emotional. I don't know, but just listening to the last couple seconds of this track, she sounded a bit emotional. So I'm sure it meant a lot to her, but I wasn't feeling it. And I've said this about Mariah Carey's covers before. I'm not the biggest fan of her covers. I like some of them. I've said in my prior Mariah Carey video where I listened to I'll Be There, her cover of the Jackson 5 song, That's one of my favorite Mariah Carey tracks ever. Even though she sings it live, it's one of my favorite tracks ever, the Mariah Carey version. But this one, unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of it. So now let's move on to track number 14, Heavenly, and in brackets it says No Ways Tired and / Can't Give Up Now.
Folks would take advantage of you because they believe you're too weak.
There will be mountains that I will have to climb. Victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. I just can't give up now. Nobody told me the road would be easy. Don't believe he's broken his heart to leave me.
Okay, and that was track number 14, Heavenly. No Ways Tired and Can't Give Up Now. Wow, wow, wow. To me, one of the standout tracks on the album, the gospel choir. I felt like I was at a church service as I was listening to this track, and I loved the whole aesthetic of it. The organ, everything. I love a good gospel choir, especially in a Mariah Carey track. And I love the meaning behind the song, in particular this line, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. So obviously they're referring to God, which I'm not a very religious person. I can appreciate tracks like this because I can hear the emotion, I can hear the dedication and the power in their voices, and they truly believe in what they're singing, and you could just feel the power and passion in their voice, and it sounds simply remarkable. They're saying, I just can't give up now, come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. So now let's move on to track number 15, It's a Wrap, featuring Mary J. Blige.
Now, Mariah, you know I love you. I loved you all my life. But I wouldn't be a friend or even a fan if I didn't give you the real.
And you walk in like it's nothing. Ain't no coffee. See, I know you see me calling.
Misrepresented my self-image, then I'm sorry. Don't make me go call more improving.
Let me take a breath. Let me take a breath.
It's gone, it's gone, it's gone.
That was your last shot. You ain't coming back. It's the martini. I mean it, baby. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone.
Okay, so that was track number 15, It's a Wrap, featuring Mary J. Blige. In the back of my head for the last couple months, I've been thinking of going on a Mary J. Blige discography journey because I feel like she has a good body of work. I mean, I've liked quite a few of her songs, the singles she's released through the years, so I feel like I would enjoy Mary J. Blige's whole discography. But in terms of the song, why do I feel like I've heard this song before? It sounds very familiar. I feel like I really have to research this. Hold on. So it looks like previously she released the song on her Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel album, which I listened to last week, so it hasn't even been a week and I forgot where the song came from. I forget what I thought of the song when I first heard it in that video for Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. But listening to it now on this album with Mary J. Blige, I can say that I really enjoyed it. But I will say, I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't know how I feel about artists recycling their songs, especially so quickly, considering that this song was on her prior album from 5 years ago in 2009. So I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, let's move on to track number 16, Betcha Gonna Know, featuring R. Kelly.
Of my life,
Honestly, guys, I'm not gonna listen to this track. One, because I've heard it already. Bet you're gonna know. I started listening to it and it does sound familiar. And she does say Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. So it was all coming back to me. Yes, it is the prologue from Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. So I'm not gonna listen to the same track again because I've already listened to it for you guys. And secondly, I'm not gonna listen to it because there's R. Kelly in it. So that's that. I'm not gonna talk about it any further. Anyway, let's move on to track number 17, The Art of Letting Go, which I have heard already, and I cannot prepare myself for how much I love this song.
I'm making a statement of my own opinion. No longer live in your dominion. Letting go ain't easy. Oh, it's just exceedingly hurtful. Down. There's a deep, deep loss of hope, and the anger burns in me. Your audacity, too much to be believed. So, baby, letting go, baby, letting go. It ain't easy, baby. On the back cover of this album is a personal treasure. This is my first and only self-portrait. I drew it when I was 3.5 and entitled it, Me, I Am Mariah. But because this album is a reflection of some of the peaks and valleys that have made me who I am today, I've decided to share it with those of you who actually care and have been here for me through it all. Lately, they've been calling me the Elusive Chanteuse.
Okay, that is it. That is my Mariah Carey discography journey. It's the end, and it's so bittersweet. There's no more Mariah Carey albums to listen to. We're done. And first, I'm gonna give my opinion on the album. I really enjoyed this album. I thought there were a lot of strong songs. There's only a couple that I didn't really care for, a couple I probably would go back to, but overall, I feel like this is a strong Mariah Carey album. And she plays around with so many different sounds, and I can really appreciate everything that went into this album. There were tracks that took me back to her Emotions album, her old school days, and it was reminding me of that era, and it was taking me back to Emancipation Mimi era. So I feel like there's different past genres, or I should say different past eras mixed into this album, past Mariah Carey eras, from Emotion to Emancipation Mimi, from the 90s, 2000s. She kind of threw different winks and nods and tributes back to her earlier work. I also love all the different genres I heard on this album. Of course, we have your typical R&B and pop, but there was also hip-hop, there was disco, there was gospel, there was everything on this album. So at the end of the day, I feel like, to me, this was an enjoyable album, and I would definitely listen to it again. So what did you guys think of the album? What are your favorite tracks? Has your opinion changed since you heard it for the first time back in 2014? Where does it rank on your Mariah Carey discography list? This has been a lot of fun going on this Mariah Carey discography journey, starting in 1990 with her debut album. Or I should say, actually, I started this discography journey 2 years ago, technically, with Caution when I first listened to that album. Technically, I wasn't on my Mariah Carey discography journey 2 years ago in 2018 when I listened to Caution. But it was the first video, technically, in this series 2 years ago. And since then, I've come to really appreciate Mariah Carey, and in particular, her songwriting. That was a standout to me since listening to her first album from 1990, her self-titled debut album. I could definitely pick up from the very beginning. She was very strong at putting words together and using words and songs I never heard other artists use before in a song. She literally is a walking thesaurus. She knows so many great words to use in her songs, and she's a fantastic songwriter. I always enjoy reading her lyrics and trying to find the story she's trying to tell in her songs and her albums, even though a lot of times I feel like I'm probably wrong, but I feel like music is open to interpretation, so it might mean one thing to someone, but the song might mean something else to another person. And though I do like Mariah's 90s albums a bit more than her 21st century, 2000s and 2010 albums, I can really appreciate her whole discography. And what I love about her discography is that her albums attract a wide range of different people and listeners from all over the world. And my favorite Mariah Carey albums might not be your favorite, and my least favorite might be your favorite. So doesn't make me right, doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make you right, doesn't make you wrong. It's just whatever we like, whatever we enjoy listening to, it is what it is. So that's what I love about her discography at the end of the day, is that it's so universal and we can all find something to love about her music, whether it be her vocals, her amazing vocals, or her songwriting. You know, a gospel choir she pulls in here and there through different songs she plays on different albums, and at the end of the day, she just has an amazing body of work. And Mariah's albums and songs will stand the test of time. We're in 2020, and listening to albums from the 90s that she's put out, her songs will stand the test of time. Her albums will stand the test of time. And all her albums are so generational that 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people will continue to listen to Mariah because she has quality music. And I don't mean this as a diss, but a lot of newer artists today, not all, but some, you know, they won't be remembered in 10 years. They won't be remembered in 20 years and 50 years. But artists like Mariah, she will be. 50 years, 100 years from now, she will stand the test of time. So my final question to you is, what do you think of Mariah Carey? What do you think of her as a person, a human being, a woman, a songstress, and an artist? When did you first discover her music, and what are some of the memories that are attached to experiences you've had listening to some of her songs and albums, whether it be with friends, family, by yourself, maybe you were traveling somewhere? Through the decades, through the years, tell me your stories. I'm very curious to know about your love for Mariah Carey. Maybe she's your favorite artist of all time. Tell me why. What does she mean to you? And I think that's all I want to say. So thank you for letting me into your lab community. I had a lot of fun, and I did the best I could with my music knowledge. I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to music. I just gave you my opinions of what I liked and what I didn't like. And at the end of the day, I want to say thank you. I had a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artist from any decade, so on and so forth. You know the drill. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.